Hi, I'm just Flo from the 9H team and from Florian Press Consulting. Today I'm bringing you some news about the latest background supplement. The background supplement from Vermin Swarm. Whispers from below. Exciting news. I was one of the first who had the opportunity to read it, and I am really in love with it. Read yourself or listen to this video. Florian Gress Consulting, your healthy hobby hub, proudly presents T9A Bavaria, your doses of info and background. Let us follow this old wise sage into his library, full of tomes about the background of fantasy battles the Ninth Age. We should open one of them. Let us start with this one. Fantasy Net Battles, Ninth Age. A Ninth Age supplement, Vermin Swarm, Whispers from below. Faction leader Sebastian Follans. Head of background Edward Murdoch. Contributing authors Sebastian Follans, Edward Murdoch, Glenn Patel, John Wallace, Curtison Gisner. Editor John Wallace. Layout Kasper Buki. First edition, first month of 2022. Agatha, I pray this package reaches you in time. This is everything I could find. I hope it is enough. They're on to me. My time is up. You must keep these documents safe. You will know when to use them. All I can say is this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I have adopted you. You were right from the start. The threat is real. Soon they rise. In Suna's light. Luthor. History. The ancient Avrazi believed their city and greatness was founded by the twin brothers, Afrulus and Ephrilus, the orphans suckled by a she-wolf, the vermin who consider themselves the heirs of this legacy, believe it was not a looping creature who nurtured the future heroes, but a rodent. Yes, you may laugh, but the question of origin has proved a very serious one for many of us through the ages. Both human and vermin. How indeed can we explain the events that ushered in the Age of Plague so many centuries ago? That is our topic for today. There are a great number of theories about the arrival, as we call the events that marked the end of the Fourth Age and brought the swarm into the world. As you know, the vermin were born during the siege of Avras, at the zenith of the Afrazi civil war. The forces of the ambitious general Gaius Dexion fought those theoretically loyal to the Senate, led by the equally power-hungry Marcus Tiberian. More important to this tragic tale is the infamous priest-sorcerer and former statesman Quintus Augustus, who was languishing in a prison cell during the siege for daring to criticize the war and the conduct of Tiberian as general. The popular telling has Augustus begging his people's Calesian gods for salvation and an end to fighting in his dungeon cell. Where the gods refused to answer, there was one who heard his prayers. The holy gem around the priest's neck suddenly became imbued with divine power, possibly by a supernal of the pantheon with mysterious intentions. Supposedly, granting Augustus the very fire of the gods. The old man summoned the little dungeon rats to him, tying their tails together around the gam in incantation of ancient design, creating a version of the Rat King phenomenon known to occur naturally. It is suggested by some unlikely sources that this terrible creature, representing the birth of a verminous new species, would go on to become the Rat King. An enormous evil ball of mad rats that supposedly still controls the swarm in secret today from the deep dark. Regardless of such fanciful notions, the classical account continues. As Augustus' spell took effect, the rats began to grow, not just those who had tied together, but others nearby as well, swelling to human size, rising onto feet and overpowering the dungeon guards. The priest was carried from the jail to find the city gripped by fighting. Dexion had breached the walls, and his legions fought Tiberians in the streets. Only a vermin came forth in ever-growing numbers did the two sides pause. Some say Augustus called for peace. Others that he betrayed his creations and tried to smother them in the grip. In either case, both human armies were so horrified by what they saw that they joined forces in their final hour to destroy the Red Man. Yet it was for naught. They were soon overwhelmed, for the spell was still at the height of its power. For every human soldier devoured by rodents, new walking, thinking rats emerged, frenzified with fear, confusion and hunger, hardly understanding what they did as they consumed the city with terrible swiftness. It is said that in later years the vermin deployed their own myths of the arrival. While the traditional story ends with Quintus Augustus fleeing, never to be heard from again, the vermin account has him taken captive in the Senate house. A brave rat stepped forward, calling for mercy for their creator. Yet even as it spoke, it fell dying from a knife buried in its back by none other than the individual who would later call itself Gnaurus Primus Redentius, the first rodent king of Afras, he who directed the swarm so merciless to expand and consume the rest of the city's ancient territory across Vetia and beyond. In his account, Rodentius publicly used Augustus' innards for an augury, providing a sign that the gods had judged humanity no longer worthy of Afra's mantle, that the vermin should now rule supreme, just as the gods slew and replaced their own parents, the Titans. Many have tried to explain how exactly Augustus or any other agent brought the vermin into being. Divine intervention seems undeniable. Magic of the sort? Is true creation or temporary conjuration or mere illusion? That is beyond even the ken of the wisest elven sages from across the sea. Most vermin sources point to Melchiope, the humble muse of tragedy, as the one who misled Quintus Augustus into bringing about the arrival. Regretted it from the goddess to minor supernal by the Afrasi, she may have harbored full resentment and dark ambitions. Among the vermin she is venerated as the greatest of godhearts, so she is considered a being to fear rather than to love. Some say it has not the rats who grew large, but the entire population of the prison guards and inmates alike, who were transformed into rat men. Such an idea bolstered the vermin's history that they are the true heirs of Avras, being in effect simply the descendants of humans who were placed under a permanent curse. A more outlandish theory claims that the ratmen are not of this world at all, and crossed over from another place beyond the veil. Perhaps sent as a punishment for the moral decay of the Afrasi Empire, or via dark sorcery initiated by the agents of chaos or undeath. In this version of the tale, popular among the clergy of the Church of Sunna, the vermin are the personification of mankind's sins, intended to castigate us for our transgressions. Alas, there is no evidence for such claims. It is believed that the use of the term arrival to describe the event began immediately after Avras fell to the vermin. Modern archaeological and chronometric research has confirmed that at least some of the ratmen were literate from the very start. They produced surprising numbers of primary sources on their early history, as they sought to make sense of their coming into the world. Initially written in the classic Afrasi, but later developing into a bastardized version of the tongue. It seems that vermin scholars have long been as interested and divided on the topic as we are today. Tomorrow we shall provide an overview of vermin history between the arrival and the goddess, including the 10,000 children of Gnaus Primus' attempts at legal codification, the Warbron and pre-infernal wars, Archean experimentation in the ruined quarter, and the rat witch Sycorax, who became the first dictator. From the lectures of Mundir al-Musa, Dorite Chair of History at the University of Avras. You want to know more about what happened with Avras and the Vermin Swarm, about their culture and their society and everything going on there? Well, you see, there are a lot of pages more. Oh, is that scrolling too fast? Well, I guess if you download it from www.the9th-age.com and read it there, or soon, like 1 or 2 weeks or 1 or 2 months, to buy the printed book from Amazon, well, then you have all the time you need and want to read all the pages. And I'm sure you won't make a bad choice. Really lots of info, historical dates, quotes, reports. It's like you get source material and role-playing game from the inside perspective in the inner world, poems, everything. It's a really good combination, and as you can see, it flows really nicely. It's one of my most favorite. Yes, even we get in characters we get. Now we have to say, yes, we know some rats, some names, some vermin. It's over? Well, I guess you can get much more time out of it if you read it, if you had it in your hand or on your own monitor. I hope you will enjoy it. Bye. Oh, before I forget, don't forget to get the printed books, the printed background books, from Amazon or from eBay, through Florian Grass Consulting, your Hesse Hobby Hub. Bye. Thank you for leaving a comment below, which allows us to better cater to your wants and needs.